Took the stand for the second straight day in his own double murder trial.
The former South Carolina attorney is accused of killing his wife and son at the family's hunting estate. Our Taggart Houck has been following it. He joins us in the studio to break down today. Tag.
Nigel, Carol Murdaugh finished testimony around 4:45 this afternoon. He took the stand really for 2 days, all in an effort to show the jury that he did not kill Maggie and Paul Murdaugh.
About the last time you saw them alive.
For the second straight day, prosecutors explored a wide range of questions with Alec Murdaugh, including why he didn't come clean that he was at the scene minutes before Maggie and Paul were killed.
Other than lying to them about going to the kennel, I was cooperative in every aspect of this investigation.
Very cooperative, except for maybe the most important fact of all, that you were at the murder scene with the victims just minutes before they died. Right?
I did not tell them that I went to the kennel.
Prosecutors played segments from the interview at the scene, including when Murdaugh indicated that whoever killed them must have been upset with Paul from the boat crash.
Any direct threats between any of the people on the boat specifically, but I do think there's been a small amount of yip-yap between a couple of them, but not recently.
As I sit here today, that I believe that boat wreck is the reason why Paul and Maggie were killed.
Okay.
And I'm certain,
So
I believe that.
It was random vigilantes, the 5-2 vigilantes, huh?
And when I tell you the social media response that came from that was vile, the things that were said about what they would do to Paul, they were so over the top that nobody would believe anybody would get on social media and do that. But I believe then and I believe today that the wrong person saw and read that.
Okay.
Because I can tell you for a fact that the person or people who did what I saw on June the 7th, they hated Paul Murdaugh and they had anger in their heart. And that is the only reason that somebody could be mad at Paul like that and hate him like that.
So what you're telling this jury is that it's a random vigilante.
That's your
the 12-year-old, the 12-year-old 5-2 people that just happened to know that Paul and Maggie were both at Moselle on June 7th, that knew that they would be at the kennels alone on June the 7th, that knew that you would not be there, but only between the times of 8:49 and 9:02, that they show up without a weapon, assuming that they're going to find weapons and ammunition there, that they commit this crime during that short time window, and then they travel the same exact route that you do around the same time to Alameda. That's what you're trying to tell this jury?
You got a lot of factors in there, Mr. Waters, all of which I do not agree with, but some of which I do.
Prosecutors established that Murdaugh lied to those closest to him and stole millions.
The prospect of humiliating the legacy is an extraordinary provocation to you, isn't it, Mr. Murdaugh?
What do you mean by an extraordinary provocation?
It affects you deeply. It's your biggest concern, is it not?
No, that's not my biggest concern.
Mr. Murdaugh, are you a family annihilator?
A family annihilator? You mean like, did I shoot my wife and my son?
Yes.
No. I would never hurt Maggie Murdaugh. I would never hurt Paul Murdaugh under any circumstances.
Court will resume 9:30 Monday morning.